Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Giribharadhari. Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Giribharadhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Punachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jai Sri Sri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Jai Sri Sri Radha Damodara Ki Jai Jai Sri Sri Nitai Gauranga Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Program in all of Timishwara. Courtesy of His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada wanted us to be happy. And so he gave us this morning program for singing and dancing so we could be happy. And then a little philosophy. And then a little prashad. Very nice morning program. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam 4th Canto, Chapter 3, entitled Talks Between Lord Shiva and Sati. So today's verse is text 2. Yada Bhishikto Dakshastu Brahmana Parameshtina Prajapatinam Sarvesham Adipatye Smayo Bhavat Yada Bhishikto Dakshastu Brahmana Parameshtina Prajapatinam Sarvesham Adipatye Smayo Bhavat Yada Bhishikto Dakshastu Brahmana Parameshtina Prajapatinam Sarvesham Adipatye Smayo Bhavat. Mataji's. Yada, when Abhishikta, appointed, Daksha, to, but, Brahmana, by Brahma, Parameshtina, the supreme teacher, Prajapatinam, of the Prajapatis, Sarvesham, of all, Adipatye, as the chief, Smaya, puffed up, Abhavat, he became. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When Lord Brahma appointed Daksha, the chief of all the Prajapatis, the progenitors of population, Daksha became very much puffed up. Srila Prabhupada's purport: although he was envious and was inimical towards Lord Shiva, Daksha was appointed the chief of all Prajapatis. That was the cause of his excessive pride. When a man becomes too proud of his material possessions, he can perform any disastrous act, and therefore Daksha acted out of false prestige. That is described in this chapter. So, Yada Bhishikto Dakshastu, when Lord Brahma appointed Daksha, Abhishikta means he appointed him. So, Brahma made a choice of all the Prajapatis, who was going to be the chief. So he chose Daksha. Now at that time, when he chose Daksha, Daksha was normal. He had normal consciousness, and he was trying to do the best job that he could. And we shouldn't find fault with Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma is Parameshtina. He is the supreme teacher. Parameshtina. Param means supreme, because he is the number one. He was the father of all mankind. He's the Param Guru of the Sampradaya. So he made a choice based on qualification and saw that Daksha was qualified. Now, how was he qualified? Prajapatinam sarvesham, of all the Prajapatis, he appeared to be the most qualified. And so, Adipatye, Lord Brahma said, you will be in charge, you will be the chief, you will be the leader, number one, of all the other Prajapatis. But when he became the chief, Bhavat, when he assumed that position, gradually he became more and more smayo, more and more puffed up with false prestige. In other words, he was thinking, I am the best of all. Because he was given the post to be chief, so he was thinking, I am the best. He should have been thinking, this is real mercy. I'm getting mercy. I'm getting the opportunity to take a humble position And to be a real servant of Lord Brahma, I'm getting the opportunity to show everybody that Lord Brahma didn't make a mistake by appointing me. But he became intoxicated by false prestige. Mada. Mada means intoxicated. It also means arrogant. So he became arrogant. He was now thinking that since I'm the best of all the Prajapatis, I'm probably the best of everyone, including Lord Shiva, who had married my daughter, therefore he was my son-in-law. So he's seeing Lord Shiva in an inferior position, which is Maya, that which is not, because Lord Shiva was in a superior position. But Daksha could not see that. Because when we become intoxicated, either by pride or arrogance or drugs or alcohol, then we don't see things as they are. And when we become intoxicated, then we end up making a fool of ourselves because we don't see things as they are. So I say things that are bogus and I do things that are bogus, and everyone is surprised and shocked. What are you doing? So of all the people who were surprised and shocked, Daksha's daughter Sati was the most surprised and the most shocked. Totally embarrassed. This is my father, and look how he's behaving towards my husband. So this whole situation is discussed in this chapter. Prabhupada says how it happened, why it happened, what was the result. And it's to give us an indication that we should not become falsely proud of our position. A position is called an upadhi. It's a designated, what's the word? It's a designation, a material designation. It's not a spiritual designation. So he was designated to be the chief or the leader of the Prajapatis in order to carry out the expanding the population in the material world. So this is called an upadhi. Sarvupadi vinirmuktam is what we're taught, that we have to give up these upadhis because they cause us to misbehave. They cause us to think and act in a wrong way. Therefore, what is the result of Sarvupadi vinirmuktam, giving up all upadhis, all false designations? The result is I become das, 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 anudas. What happens when I become das, 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 anudas, which means the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant? Immediately, I attract the attention of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world. Because now I'm coming to my constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Lord. Now in the material world, the meaning of servant, and in the spiritual world, the meaning of servant are completely different. In the spiritual world, a servant of the Lord is considered the most glorious person. In the material world, it's considered the most lowly position. No one wants to be the servant because it's a low position. They want to be like Daksha. They want to be the master. So, one of the first things that a new candidate for spiritual life when one enters bhakti yoga or any yoga process, any system of yoga, the first thing they teach you is to give up pride and to become humble and to take a humble position. So we're given humble service and a humble position so that we can experience humility. Now, some people, they prefer not to be the servant, and they may be given a position within the yoga process system. They may become a leader of some sort where they have the charge of some of the other devotees. And that can be a source of smaya, becoming puffed up, which leads to mada, excessive pride, or what we call arrogance, thinking that we're better. So let me give you an example from your own life, because that's always the best example. So you're living in the material world, you're doing so many things, and then all of a sudden, by some incalculable good fortune, by some causeless mercy, we come in association, we meet a devotee, a representative of Sri Krishna, either through a book or a person, or we take some prasad. So then, by coming in contact with the representative of the Lord's mission here on earth, then we begin to associate gradually with people. So we come to the temple and we see them singing and dancing. We see them offering obeisances. We hear them giving nice talks, deep philosophy. And we're thinking, wow, these people are so pure. How many people thought like that when you first came? They're so pure. They're so sincere. They're so dedicated. I would like to be like this. So this is called Shraddha. We develop faith that what these people are doing is purifying their heart. And they're so sweet, they're so kind, they're so nice, and they're intelligent, they have a deep philosophy. So then I decide I want to get to know these people more. I want to associate with these Vaishnavas. So then I begin associating. I may come to the Sunday feast, or I may come even for the morning programs, but I start coming. And that's called sadhu sangha. I now prefer to associate with the Vaishnavas, these new people that I've met, rather than the old friends that I've had. Because my old friends, they're not really inspiring. My family members, not really inspiring. But these people are so nice. They treat me so nice. I really like them. So I begin this sadhu sangha. Because the devotees, they're humble and they're treating you as an honored guest. And anywhere else in the material world, no one is treating you with honor and respect. It's very rare. So then you decide to go to the third stage. First stage is you have some faith that what they're doing works. 2, you start associating with them, sadhu sangha. Then you go to the next stage, which is called bhajana kriya. And you decide, I'm going to start taking up this process and following. I'm going to start chanting. I'm going to study the books. I'm going to come to the programs. And you're very happy. And you love to chant Hare Krishna. And they tell you that when you chant Hare Krishna, you're purifying your heart. And not only that, anybody who hears the holy name from you, they also become purified and they can become liberated. And, the plants and the dogs and the cats, if they hear the holy name, they can even get a human birth in the next life. That's what we're told. Yeah, who remembers that? And then we're so enthusiastic, we're chanting really enthusiastically, and we're walking down the street and we see a cat or a dog, Hare Krishna, give them a human birth, Hare Krishna to the trees. How many people remember that? So I'm making rapid progress, very rapid progress, and I'm very happy. But then what happens is I become a candidate for initiation. And thinking I want a spiritual name. I don't want to be Bhakta so-and-so. I want to be so-and-so Das. Not realizing that that's an upadhi. I'm thinking of it as a material designation, not as a spiritual thing. And so I present myself as a candidate for first initiation, and then the day arrives, and I'm very excited, and there's a fire yajna, svaha, throwing grains into the fire, and I get my new name, and I'm so happy. Someone hands me a paper, and that's what my name is. I try to remember it. How many people? And that's the first cause of fall down. Because now I start thinking that I'm making advancement. And I start thinking that I'm a little more advanced now than those other devotees who aren't initiated. How many people thought like that? Then the next step, so I start going up advancement like this, then I get a little puffed up, and then first initiation, then second initiation, I become a Brahmana. Wow. Now I'm really making advancement. This is another upadhi. I'm a Brahmana. And then I become a little more puffed up. And instead of serving everybody, when I first came, I just wanted to serve everybody because they're all pure devotees. Now I don't see everybody as pure devotee anymore. I see the fault in this one, I see the fault in that one. And I'm thinking that, I'm a Brahmana, they should be serving me. So that's the second cause of fall down, second initiation. So now, instead of going like this in advancement, I'm going like this. And then what happens, the next stage is that I'm losing my enthusiasm that I had in the beginning because of my being puffed up, just like Daksha, smaha, smayo, smaya. And so chanting is not so relishable as it was, and it becomes more of a yajna to finish 16 rounds. How many people experience that? And so all of a sudden, I was making really rapid advancement. I was really happy. Now I'm not making advancement so quickly. I'm just carrying along, and it's becoming more and more difficult. Now, why does that happen? Because at this point, we should stop and think what's happened. And we see in the history of Daksha that a similar thing happened to him. At first, he was a humble devotee wanting to serve Lord Brahma, be one of the Prajapatis. But then he was given a position, an upadhi, and he now has a title, chief. He's a designation that you're the leader of all these others. You're on top, they're below you. And so he becomes puffed up, he becomes intoxicated, and he starts to misbehave. And eventually, he commits a great offense to a much senior Vaishnava, Lord Vishnu. So this is the reason that this history is in the Srimad Bhagavatam is because it's a common source of what's the word? Of distraction from making advancement on the path and staying humble. When I give position, then I begin to think that I'm more advanced than others. The other people, the new bhaktas, they should be serving me. Not me serving them. But the actual fact is that as we make more and more advancement, we become more and more conscious to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So when a new person walks in the door for the first time, I say, "Welcome, Prabhu. How can I serve you?" So even the new person who just walked in for the first time, doesn't know anything, I see him as Prabhu, as the master. I see him as Prabhu because I see myself as Das, the servant. And as long as I see myself as the servant, Das, 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 Anudas, I'm getting that mercy from Krishna. That's why I'm making the advancement in the beginning. But once I stop seeing myself that way, Krishna slowly withdraws his mercy. And all of a sudden I find I'm on my own power. I'm trying to make advancement. And oops, it was a lot easier when Krishna was helping me, holding my hand, as it were. Now that he let go, and I'm on my own, it's difficult. Now I'm just kind of staying in the same place. So Krishna says that everyone is on the path, no doubt. Everyone's on the path. Some are making advancement, going forward. The very sincere devotees. Some are going backwards. The karmis, who are committing all kinds of sinful activities. They're also on the path, but they're going backwards, becoming more and more degraded. And then there's those who are just staying in the same place, not going forward, not going backwards. That's us sometimes. Just staying in the same place year after year after year. So I remember giving a talk in London many years ago along these lines. And one lady raised her hand when I asked for questions. And she said, "You know, I've been coming here for a long time. I've been chanting Hare Krishna for many years. But I'm finding that it's just become mechanical. I'm just doing it because I have to do it, but there's no taste. It's just a duty, and I'm just glad when it's over. And I don't want to be like that. Because it's offensive." So she said, "So I'm thinking to stop chanting altogether. Better to stop chanting than to chant mechanically and offensively." So I asked her, I said, "Madam, are you married?" She said, "Yes." "Do you have children?" "Oh yeah, I have children." "Do you sometimes find that taking care of your child becomes routine and mechanical?" She said, "Yes, sometimes it does." "But would you ever give up your child?" "Never!" The way she said never, she was really attached to her children. And I said, "The reason you won't give them up is because you love them. So even though it's mechanical, even though it's routine, because you love them, you'll never give it up. Similarly, if you loved Krishna, you wouldn't give up chanting the holy names, because Krishna is in the holy name. So we just have to open up that heart. We just have to remember how we used to feel when we first came. Try to come back to that nice, humble position of respect and honor for all other living entities. And this is the essence of Lord Chaitanya's teachings. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. This shloka is so wonderful because whether you approach it from the front or the back or the middle, you get enlightenment and understanding. So let's start from backwards, just to see. Kirtaniya Sadahari. We always want to chant Hare Krishna, right? What's the next step? Amanina Manadena. Amanina means that I don't want any honor or respect for myself. In other words, I'm finished with those upadis. I don't want pratishta, honor and respect. I just want to be a humble servant of the servant. Amanina, that's the mood. And manadena means that I want to give honor and respect to everybody else. That's what I want to do. Like when I first came to the temple. I want to give them honor and respect, and I don't need any honor and respect for myself. I'm happy, just who I am. Then, so I want to chant Hare Krishna, so I should adopt this type of mentality. What happens when I adopt this mentality? Taroriva sahishnuna. I become more tolerant than the tree. Because no matter what I do, no one is glorifying me. No one is saying, well done, you did a fantastic service. No one's patting me on the back. But that's what I wanted. Amanina. I'm happy. No one's glorifying me. No one's making me feel that I'm better than anybody else. I'm really happy. And if someone does come up and say, you did a terrific job, I never saw anyone do that service as good as you. Oops, I don't want this. So immediately I say, it's not me, it's the mercy of my guru. He gets the credit, not me. Or it's Krishna's mercy, like that. And or I can do, I always take that position because by doing that, I'm never disturbed. And if someone insults me, then I'm happy. Now someone will say, why would you be happy if you're insulted? Because if you insult a Vaishnava, that's Vaishnava Parad. They're being offensive to you. Why would you be happy if someone's offensive to you? Listen carefully, because this will change your life. When you study the Shastra, you get knowledge. And when you get knowledge, you learn things that you didn't know before. Well, one of the things you get to know is that when we do something, we get a karmic reaction for it. That's the law of karma. Everybody knows that, right? So someone's doing something, and they may be doing it right or wrong, but if they're doing it wrong, they're going to get a karmic reaction which may be negative. Now, let's say I notice that they're doing it wrong, and I point out that fault. Not in a nice way, but I just say, you did a horrible job. And then I tell everybody else, boy, he doesn't know how to do that service. Terrible. I'm finding his fault. I'm criticizing, right? Now I'm being offensive. So what happens when I'm being offensive? Then the karma that that person would have got for what he was doing wrong now comes to me. So therefore, when anybody offends me or finds my fault, I say thank you, because he's just taking away my karma. Thank you very much. I'm very happy. Amanina. Not only that, I say to them, do you have any other faults of mine that you see? Please list them all. Because that person doesn't know, he's clearing my path back to home, back to Godhead. So that's the benefit of Amanina. I don't want to be glorified. And if people insult me, I'm happy because I know he's clearing my path. I don't object. I don't say, what are you talking about? How dare you say that to me? And no, nothing like that. I'm very happy. Oh, thank you so much. Any more faults? So Amanina, we learn to become more tolerant than the tree. And then what happens? Trinadapi srinechena. I become more humble than the grass. Well, how do you become more humble than the grass? Manadena. I give all honor and respect to everyone else. Which means that instead of seeing their faults, what they do wrong, I'm only focused on what they do right, what they do well. And I compliment them. You did that so well. Let's say someone's sweeping the temple room floor. You just say, boy, this is the cleanest I've ever seen the temple room. You did a terrific job. Your service is outstanding. Thank you so much. Krishna really appreciates. So in this way, you find their good qualities and you glorify them. Now, what if I'm temple president? it's a different situation because I have to maintain a certain standard. So let's say that someone does not such a good job of cleaning the temple room, that it's actually more dirty than when he began. Sometimes that happens, right, women? The ladies, they know, because women are focused on being clean. Sometimes they ask their husband to do a service, and it turns out that it's worse than before. I know that. My wife told me so many times. So anyway, how to deal with that? There's two ways of dealing with someone who didn't do a good service. You can come in, you can chastise them. This is terrible. You find their fault. But then I'm taking their karma, so I don't want to do that. So instead, I glorify them. Oh, my dear so-and-so, I know that you are here because you want to serve the Lord, and I see that you've been trying to clean the temple room out of service to the Lord, but I know that you can do better, yet you're not working to your full capacity. I know you can do much, much better. For some reason, today you didn't do your best. But I encourage you to always do your best because we're doing it for Krishna. And Krishna deserves your best. What do you think? And then they'll say, yeah, you're right. I'm disturbed. I was thinking someone else. I could do it better. You're right. Yeah, I know you could do it better because I have so much confidence in you. You know, you have so much potential. So you inspire the person. He said, okay, I'm going to do it over again. This time I'll really do it well. So this is how we deal with people. Instead of finding their faults, we find their good qualities. And even, because this is what Krishna does, he finds the good qualities, even if you don't even have any good qualities. Like Putana, for example. She just came to kill Krishna. She didn't have any good intention whatsoever. It was 100% bad, 100% negative. But Krishna found something good. Oh, she's approaching me like a mother. Even though she was approaching him like a mother to kill him, but Krishna always sees the good side, the bright side. So he sucked out all her demoniac mentalities, killed that terrible body, purified her, and she went back home, back to Godhead. Wow. That's Krishna. Same with Shishupal. You know, at the Rajasuya sacrifice, everyone was glorifying everybody else. And Krishna took the most humble position. He welcomed every guest who came. And he washed their feet. He took a very humble position. And then everyone honored Krishna. But Shishupal, he was so envious. And he couldn't control himself. And while everyone was honoring Krishna, he started blaspheming Krishna. Krishna, you're nothing but a crow. And all negative things like that. Krishna wasn't disturbed. He treated Shishupal the way he treated Putana. So how did he deal with Shishupal? Krishna just took out his Sudarshan chakra. The chakra sliced off his head. That body died, and the spirit soul went back to Godhead. And Prabhupada, he explained to us, he says, if Krishna kills you or kisses you, it's the same result. You get purified, you get benedicted. Whether he kills you or kisses you, it's the same result. Because he's absolute. Everything's good coming from Krishna. So this is a wonderful thing. So we should know these things. We should know how to behave as a Vaishnava for the ultimate benefit of the spirit soul that's in this body, and to glorify Guru and Gauranga, who've given me their mercy to come into this process of Bhakti Yoga. So, the mercy comes when we're humble. Then now if we do it the other way around, first we try and be humble, try to be tolerant. We don't want any honor or respect for ourselves. We want to start giving all honor and respect to everybody else. Then I'll be able to chant Hare Krishna forever. Sada Hari, always chanting. Kirtaniya, always glorifying the Lord, chanting His holy name. Sada, always. Always means forever and ever and ever. In the material world and in the spiritual realm. So, this is what Lord Chaitanya is teaching us. Here you see Krishna again taking the humble position, massaging the lotus feet. He's so happy to do some service for anybody else. That's Krishna. And if I say that I'm a follower of Krishna, if I say I'm representing Krishna, shouldn't I have the same mood as Krishna? Shouldn't I have the same opinion? Shouldn't I be following in the footsteps of Krishna? How many people agree? And if I have a different opinion than Krishna, can I say I'm representing him? If I have a different opinion than Krishna, can I say I'm his follower? So, like Prabhupada said to me, first he said like this, don't be Krishna unconscious. Don't be Krishna unconscious. You know, I never heard that expression before, Krishna unconscious. I'm Krishna unconscious? Don't be Krishna unconscious. He said, first become conscious, then you can become Krishna conscious. So we have to be conscious we're dealing with Krishna. We're representing Krishna. We're representing the spiritual master. We're representing Prabhupada. We're representing the Parampara. We have to first become conscious of everything that we do. And then we can become Krishna conscious. So like Prabhupada warned us, don't be Krishna unconscious. Means unaware, in a fog, spaced out, just doing something to get it over with. That's not Krishna consciousness, that's Krishna unconscious. Then Prabhupada gave the example of Kamsa. He said that Krishna consciousness or devotional service has to be favorable. Kamsa was also thinking of Krishna day and night, but it wasn't favorable. He was wanting to kill him. He's finding different demons and sending them to kill Krishna. So he was also thinking of Krishna day and night, but it was unfavorable. So devotional service has to be favorable. So Kamsa missed the point. Daksha missed the point. Brahma gave him an opportunity to come to a higher level of service, to come to a higher level of understanding his position as Das, 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 Anudas. But because he was overcome by Pratishta, now I have a position. Now I have this upadhi. I'm the chief. I'm on top. I'm better than anyone else. Then he even thought he was better than Lord Shiva. And we've seen in our movement that some of my God brothers, they even thought they became more knowledgeable than Prabhupada. Believe it or not. And one of my ex-God brothers, who was traveling with Prabhupada as his secretary, as his Sanskrit editor. I mean, this guy was very knowledgeable. He studied the Sanskrit and everything. But then he became puffed up like Daksha, overcome by Pratishta. I'm the Sanskrit editor. I know Sanskrit better than Prabhupada. And one day he approached Prabhupada and said, please give me your blessings, I can find another spiritual master. It's a true story. And he left. Of course, what happened to him? Well, he ended up as Neil Delmonico, went back to his Karmi name, never did find another spiritual master, and he again became a mouse. Punar Mushika Babu. Again, he became a mouse. And he went to the university, got his PhD in Sanskrit and comparative religions, and now he's puffed up thinking he knows more than everybody else, knows more than Prabhupada, more than, you know. Anyway, this is a danger. We have to be on our guard, not to become like Daksha. Puffed up with false prestige. Wasn't even real prestige. Prabhupada says false prestige. The same with my godbrother, I don't want to mention his name, Neil Delmonico, his Karmi name. He also became puffed up with false prestige. Oh, I'm this Sanskrit editor. I know Sanskrit better than Prabhupada. He made a mistake. That's not the meaning of that word. You know, like that. And I saw it with another one of my godbrothers also. One of my godbrothers who had also been making advancement, he took sannyas, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. And then one of my godbrothers, I was traveling around, I was in California, he said, oh, so-and-so, you remember him? Yeah, I remember him. Oh, he's giving a talk. You want to come and hear him? You haven't seen him for a long time. Okay. So I went to see him. So he spoke. And, you know, he wasn't very humble. The way he was speaking, he was really puffed up. And then when we took prasadam, so we were sitting together. So I asked him, so, you know, what are you doing? What are your projects that you're getting involved in? And he said to me, well, I'm thinking of translating the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Really? Yeah, you know. And he gave an example how Prabhupada translated one word like this, and he said, but actually that means like this. So again, he was thinking he knew more than Prabhupada. So this is not the way to attract the attention of Krishna. Because as a parent loves the children so much, anyone who insults the children or offends the children, the parents don't like that person. Isn't it? For sure, 100%. So anyone who is insulting Prabhupada, Krishna is turning their back on that person. Saying, okay, you're not ready for this. Maybe try again the next life. You know, you need a fresh start. And whenever someone offends a devotee of Krishna, Radharani makes a sour face, and turns her face away. Because they love the devotees. So we have to be careful. So the Bhagavatam teaches two things. How to behave as a Vaishnava, what to do, and what to avoid, what not to do, which we follow in the footsteps of these persons and we don't follow in the footsteps of those persons. So here's Daksha and Lord Shiva. So this is a very interesting chapter because it's dealing with what we call Abhideya Tattva, which means how do we behave while following the process of Bhakti Yoga. What's my behavior? How do I behave in this situation, in that situation, with this person, with that person? So Abhideya Tattva covers all the different possible situations and how I'm supposed to behave. And of course, you're always supposed to behave with respect and humility. So here, I'll just repeat what Prabhupada said in the purport. When a man becomes too proud of his material possessions, and my material possession may just be my title, then he can perform any disastrous act. we become puffed up. And we act in a way that's disastrous for ourselves. And therefore, Daksha acted out of false prestige. And it was disastrous for him. He was humiliated. In the end, he was completely humiliated. Anyway, you'll read, as you study more and more, this will all become clear. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Any points for discussion? Yes.
When we see faults in others, but we stop to talk about this, but we just thinking about this, it's not the same.
Okay, well, that's a very good point. I see someone doing something that I consider to be wrong, but I don't want to say anything, I don't want to find his fault, but I'm thinking negative things about him. Is that the same thing as speaking negative things? That's the question. And the answer is no, it's not the same thing. By special mercy in Kali Yuga, whatever you think does not hold, it's not held against you. You don't have to suffer the karma for what you think. However, if you think something, there's a process, thinking, willing, and acting. So sooner or later, after you think about it more and more, you're going to start feeling it more and more, and eventually you're going to say something. You're going to do something. So therefore, we should, when we start thinking like this, we should stop it. Stop thinking like that. I don't want to think in a negative way. So what I did, I made a sankalpa. That means a promise to Krishna. That I will never, my first was this. I don't want any negativity in my life. Why should I have negativity in my life? I just want everything positive. So therefore, I made a sankalpa. I'm not going to think anything negative. I'm not going to say anything negative. I'm not going to do anything negative. So negative thoughts may come to the mind because the mind's out of control, but I never act on it. I stop it right there and then. So I don't want to say anything negative. I don't want to do anything negative. I don't want to think anything negative. That was my first step in the sankalpa. The second step was this, and the whole thing was because I don't want any negativity in my life, because life's too short to have negativity in it. I just want everything to be positive. It's a very short life. So the second thing was, I don't want to hear anything negative from anybody else. So if let's say we're in a group of people and someone says something very horrible about somebody else, then I don't want, I either leave immediately or I say to them, look, I don't want to hear anything negative. That's my sankalpa. Either you stop speaking like this or I have to leave. And I learned this from Jayananda Prabhu, my godbrother Jayananda. He was always so humble, always glorifying devotees. And if there was a group of people speaking and someone said something negative about somebody, Jayananda would just make a sour face and immediately leave. And one devotee told me, he said, I said something negative. Jayananda made a sour face and he left, and then I realized, oh my God, I offended Jayananda. Not only did I speak bad about somebody else, but I also offended Jayananda. And everybody loved Jayananda. Why? Because he loved everybody. He was so dear to everyone because everyone was dear to him. So this godbrother of mine, he had that experience. He shared it with me, and so I learned it from him, that we don't want to speak negative about someone else. We don't want to hear anything negative about someone else. So we want to stop that also. Because if they ask, they say, well, look, I'm just telling the truth. And you just say, whatever it is, it's negative. And I don't want any negativity in my life. Life is too short for negative. I only want positive in my life. So that's how I dealt with it. Is that helpful? Hare Krishna. Yes.
You said that when someone does something wrong, you don't have to criticize them and just glorify them and tell them that you can do better. But what I noticed...
Isn't that what you do with your children? Maybe you don't have children yet. But we're always encouraging our children, right, Mataji? Yeah.
But what I noticed was that when I get criticized, I'm more conscious of my false ego. Because if everyone praises me, I think I'm doing fine. So I don't have any false ego. I'm well.
Well, you said, what if I'm doing something wrong? Well, they may praise you, but they're telling you can do better.
Yes, but I'm never conscious that I have a false ego. If nobody does something that's offensive to me.
So you like it when they're offensive to you?
I like it that I'm getting conscious at least. At least I see I'm not so bad.
Well, that's good. You're practicing amanina. You're happy not to be glorified, and you're happy when people criticize you.
But if everyone would follow this practice and glorify everyone, how would people get, know that they are not that advanced?
Well, it's not a question of what I know or what I don't know. It's a question, here's the essence of your point. That the process of bhakti yoga is not about how much I know and what I know, because it's not the process of jnana. The process of bhakti yoga is, what is my relationship? It's all about relationships. So what's my relationship with Krishna? What's my relationship with the Vaishnavas? What's my relationship with the innocent people out there? What's the relationship with the demons? What's my relationship with the animals? I have to know my relationship and behave properly in all these different relationships. This is called Abhideya Tattva, which is what I briefly mentioned in the talk. So we have to know how to deal with one another. So if we look at the Shastra, we see that the Vaishnavas are always glorifying one another. They're always finding the good qualities. And Krishna also does that. So you're thinking that if we all do that, that's a hindrance. Because then I'll become puffed up. But not really. Because the mercy of Krishna is there for you. It's when we start offending people that Krishna lets go of your hand. Now you're on your own. When I start becoming puffed up. Remember I was talking about that in the talk? That when we become puffed up and we're no longer the humble servant of the servant of the servant, and we just start thinking we're better than anybody else, Krishna lets go of your hand, and now devotional service becomes a struggle. So that's how you realize it. That all of a sudden, it used to be so blissful, and now it's a struggle. What am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm becoming puffed up. Maybe I'm, like that. So this is called the science of self-realization. We have to look into our own hearts. How am I doing? I don't compare myself to him. How am I doing compared to him? No. I compare myself. How am I doing to me? How am I doing to what I was? How am I comparing myself to how I was last year? How am I doing now compared to 2 years ago? How am I doing now compared to 5 years ago? Am I doing better or am I doing worse? If I'm doing worse, what am I doing wrong? If I was more blissful then than I am now, what am I doing wrong? So we have to analyze. This is a science of self-realization. We have to come to that understanding by looking into our own heart, and that's called doing the internal work. The devotional service that we're doing with our arms and legs is the external work. The internal work is the devotional service we're doing with our heart and soul. Am I becoming purified? Am I becoming more humble? Am I developing the qualities of a Vaishnava? And that's more important, because real devotional service is not done with the hands and legs. It's always done with the heart and soul. The heart and soul is just directing the hands and legs. But it's not the hands and legs who are doing the service, because we're not the body. That has to be clear. It's always the heart and soul that's doing the devotional service. So we have to become situated in our heart and soul and understand, how am I doing today compared to a year ago or last month or yesterday or whatever. So here's another idea that I came up with, I can share with you. We want to develop humility, and we want to develop the proper Vaishnava mentality. So when you take rest in the evening, you can have a heart-to-heart talk with Krishna. My dear Lord Krishna, today I did a little devotional service for you, but I know I can do better. So tomorrow, I'm going to do better. And then you try and do better tomorrow. And then tomorrow, at the end of the day, you have a little talk to Krishna. Today I did some devotional service to you, but it still wasn't my best. I know I can still do more. So the next day I'll do even more. Every day you have this talk to Krishna, and every day you tell him, I'm going to improve, I'm going to do better, I can do more. And when one day we may come and say, boy, today I really blew it. Today I should have done this, I should have done that, I really failed you, please forgive me. Tomorrow I'll do much better. We should have a talk to Krishna. Why not? He's our best friend. He's our beloved. We're establishing a loving relationship with him. How do you establish a loving relationship with someone you never talked to? Is it possible? No. Is that helpful? Hare Krishna. Yes.
When I realized that my spiritual life is not in the right way, and I understand that for sure I make many offenses, knowing or without knowing, against Vaishnavas, and but we don't remember. I don't remember exactly when and against whom. How we can repair this and correct?
Well, there's two ways. You know, if you have an idea that you offended somebody, you can just go to them and say, look, you know, I'm trying to become a better Vaishnava, so whether I offended you either knowingly or unknowingly, please accept my humble obeisances. And that's really nice. Now, when I first came to Vrindavan, I was in 1975, one of the services they gave me was cleaning the kitchen, you know. So I was cleaning the kitchen with one other devotee, and we got into a discussion about something. I forget what it was. But he had one opinion, I had another opinion. And we were starting to present our point of view, you know, and trying to defeat the other. Then at a certain point, I realized, well, I'm in the holy Dham, you know, and here I'm getting a little heated in this discussion. Maybe I shouldn't do like this. So I said, okay, just accept my humble obeisances, you know. So I offered my humble obeisances. But he didn't accept that. He didn't offer humble obeisances back. And he said, no. He walked away. At least I did the right thing. Anyway, I never saw him ever again. That was 75. That's how many, 42 years ago? I've never seen him in 42 years. I don't know what happened to him. But I come to the conclusion that in the holy Dham, he wouldn't offer obeisances. He wouldn't accept someone offered obeisances to him. And it was very offensive. And so Krishna just showed him the door. So that's one thing that we do. The second thing is, maybe I offended someone who now lives in another country. Maybe I offended someone who now left his body. How do I rectify that? Then I just have to pray to Krishna. My dear Lord Krishna, I think I offended so-and-so and this person and that person, and even some people I don't even know who I offended. Please, I now offer my respectful obeisances at their lotus feet, and I please ask for their forgiveness. So you do it through Krishna, because Krishna is in everyone's heart. So he's in their heart also. So if you do it through Krishna, then you're doing fine. Because it's the right mentality, the right devotional attitude. So Krishna appreciates that and takes away any bad reactions. So we have to become conscious. First become conscious, then you can become Krishna conscious. So offending people is being Krishna unconscious. We're unconscious. We don't know what we're doing. We're offending people. I'm going backwards on the path now. So we have to become aware of these things. Jai. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.